Hey, what is up, y'all? For those of us who live in temperate climates and love amusement parks and roller coasters, we're just shaking off the winter cold and welcoming in a new coaster season. So after a few months of no coasters, a couple of friends and I decided to check out King's Dominion's opening day this year. After a quick stop for breakfast at Waffle House, we made it to the park around 11:30. And the crowds weren't so bad. We immediately headed towards Twisted Timbers. And once we got there, we discovered the ride was running really well. Neither of my friends, Anya or Randy, are coaster dorks, so it was interesting to hear what they thought about it. They both were expecting something more along the lines of, say, Invader at Busch Gardens Williamsburg, just based on the height. But once we got off, they said they were really surprised by how action-packed the ride is, and they commented on how smooth and fun it was. As for me, I enjoyed it as much as I did last year when I rode it on Media Day. I know a lot of people had said it really sped up and so forth, but I didn't really notice that. It was roughly, say, 65 degrees, maybe 70 when we got there, so it wasn't that it was cold or anything. But it is a fast-paced ride, so with lots of air, and a particular standout for me is that first run down the length of the ride, which is those 3 massive camelbacks in a row. That is a lot of fun. So while I was busy filming the ride, Anya and Randy rode the Apple's Apple and acted like fools. And then we decided to make our way across the park to ride Intimidator. The nice thing, well, actually, I didn't really expect anyone to ride this with me, but somehow Randy decided he was going to do it. He mustered up the courage. I said, "Are you sure?" He said, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay, come on." So I think enough about this ride has been said by this point. I mean, it's been around a while. Everyone knows everything about it. I will just say that you'll most likely gray out on the first turn. That usually happens to me every time. I usually get back to normal about the time you go over that big airtime hill. But that does mean I'm not going to be marathoning this ride anytime soon. I usually ride it maybe twice, and that's enough for me. But it is really fun. It's amazingly intense. Even though it's not really what it's about, it has a lot of airtime. For some reason, that always takes me by surprise every time I ride it, just remembering how much airtime it has. And Randy actually didn't think it was too bad. I was really surprised by that. After we got off the ride, he said he thought Lightning Rod at Dollywood was actually more intense. So that kind of surprised me because, in my opinion, if you can do Intimidator, you can do anything. So. And incidentally, while we were riding, I gave the camera to Anya to record, and the resulting footage, as you can see here, looks like something out of the Blair Witch Project. So I won't be giving her the camera anymore. After Intimidator, we spent some time lounging around. We relaxed in the grass, watched the crowds go by. We saw some people putting flowers up at Volcano since the ride is closed. And we even took a spin on Avalanche. But finally, before leaving, it was time for Dominator. Now, I had ridden this way back when it was still at Geauga Lake. That was the first time I ever rode it, and I really loved it at that time. I think it's a really good B&M layout. It's unusual. I always like that. I love those 2 turns that you get in that gigantic loop. That loop is just huge. And then you've got those 2 turns coming after that, and the Cobra Roll, of course. And then you even get some nice air coming off the mid-course brake run. So overall, it's just twisty and fun. I just really think it's a top-notch floorless coaster, and it's certainly my favorite of the floorless coasters that I've ridden. I'm really glad to have it close to me now. So overall, we had a lot of fun. The park did have some operational glitches, just people, I guess, learning what to do and so forth. But it was the opening weekend. I know they had their season pass holder preview already, but overall I think it was good times. So that's going to wrap up this opening day summary. If you went to King's Dominion for opening day or anytime maybe the next day when it was a little less crowded and you want to talk about it, hit me up in the comments. I'm always glad to hear from you. Otherwise, I will talk to you next time. Take care and enjoy the ride.